Welcome to my Sydney hotel room. If you've ever wondered what is the perfect use case for the Superblast 3, I think I've just found it. Let's chat. Hi there, I'm Chris. I'm Benny's dad and a journalist who loves to cut through the marketing hype to tell it like it really is. And today is a little bit different because yes, we're talking about the Superblast 3, but at the same time we're also talking about what happens when running is taken away from you, even just for a little while. So this morning, Jenny and I went for a run here in Sydney. Yesterday we left the boys, Sam and Ben, at home and came here for a little getaway for a wedding anniversary celebration. And honestly, this run we did this morning, where we both wore our Superblasts, I reckon might be the most beautiful run in all of Australia. Here's the map. You've got Darling Harbour, Barangaroo, Circular Quay, the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Sydney Opera House, the Botanic Gardens. I'll share some footage of our run during this chat. Another reason that I love the run so much was because I hadn't actually put on a pair of running shoes for about a week. So this was a bit of a let's see how it goes sort of a run. An 8-kilometre return from injury jog. And on my feet, doing a spectacular job, were the Superblast 3s. So a quick update on the ankle. About 9 or 10 days ago, I couldn't actually walk for 2 days. Here's a picture of me in bed. My ankle had swollen up to about twice its normal size. After a visit to a physio and a doctor, I took myself for an MRI, and that revealed that the Achilles problem I thought I'd had for a very long time is not actually an Achilles problem, but instead is some missing cartilage from my ankle joint, which means there's a certain area of my ankle where when I run, it's bone on bone. That leads to irritation, sometimes a fair bit of swelling, and sometimes quite a lot of pain, which sounds worse than it feels right now. But what it's taught me, and the advice that I've had since then, is that I need to manage my running so that I'm not doing too much sprinting, not too much fast work all at once. I thought that I could run through the pain. Classic runner move, right? I'll just keep running and it'll go away. Don't do that. But the hardest part hasn't actually been the pain. Instead, it's been that feeling of not being able to run and not being able to run as much or in the way that you usually do, in the way that you like to run. You realize pretty quickly that running is part of your headspace. It's not just part of your routine, but it's something you use to relax, to de-stress. And when it's taken away, even just temporarily, you do feel a little bit off. Anyway, this is where the Superblast 3 comes in. When Jenny and I were packing for this trip, I decided this is the pair of shoes I absolutely have to take. And in a weird way, the injury has completely changed the way that I see this shoe. In a previous video, in a comparison to the Evo SLs, and I will link that video in the description below, I half-jokingly referred to the Superblast 3s as hospital shoes, because I think I said they're the place your feet want to be when they're beaten up. I didn't fully mean at the time that these were actual hospital shoes, but now I do. Because if you are coming back from injury, or if your legs or feet just need a bit of a break during a heavy training period, I honestly think this is the absolute best pair of shoes you can have on your feet. And it's not because they're fast. For me, they're really not very fast at all. With the Superblast 3s, pace is not the point. The point is what the Superblast 3s do for your feet. They're soft and forgiving and incredibly high quality. They're more protective than any running shoes I have ever worn, without being clunky, at least once you get used to their massive size. And they just take the edge off every single step. They feel as if they're not just protecting your feet, but also your ankles, your knees, and your hips too. This morning, my first run back after 8 or 9 days of no running, my only thought at the beginning of the run was, can I run without making this injury even worse? And in the Superblast 3, I just felt safe throughout the entire run. The run was an incredible success. And when you're coming back from injury, that feeling is everything. So I admit, I think I had been judging this shoe incorrectly. I was looking at it like a high-performance daily trainer or even a super trainer, because that's the way I looked at the Superblast 2 over several years. I was asking, is it exciting? Is it fast? But maybe that's not even the right question about the Superblast 3. Maybe the real strength of the Superblast 3 is just that it looks after you really well. It's the shoe that you reach for when things aren't perfect, when you're tired, when you're sore, or when you're trying to come back from injury like I am right now. And that's actually a pretty powerful role in any running shoe rotation, and it's not a shoe that I've had in my rotation before, but I'm really glad it's there right now. So now I would love to hear from you, because I still have a way to go in my recovery. And in fact, cartilage doesn't grow itself back, so my recovery will probably never be over. But I'd like to know, when you've been in this sort of situation, when you have been injured and haven't been able to run, how did you handle it? What worked for you, and also what didn't work for you? Please tell me everything in the comments below. If you've been through an injury that took you out of running for a while, what did you do to stay healthy and to stay sane? Let me know in the comments. I would genuinely love to hear your solutions around this challenge. If you found this useful, please like and subscribe to Run with Benny. When you subscribe to this little channel, it really helps us a great deal. Thank you. Run well and take care. I'll see you next time.